Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is that you are listening, folks. Thank you very, very much for listening. The date is the 24th. The month is March. The year is 2026. Welcome to yet another edition of The Coping Hour, hosted by Nicholas Hinkle, a.k.a. Motown Noah. Juiced, jazzed, excited, synonyms right now. Feeling good right now. The Pistons just beat the Lakers. We were taping this episode intentionally a day late. I got to be honest with you, I otherwise would have had nothing to talk about yesterday. And I was like, why don't I just wait a day and the Pistons will have played the Lakers? Look, even without Cade playing in the game, which, man, could you imagine if he was playing? The game already felt like really big, and it felt like it mattered, and it felt like it was a good crowd, and it felt like it had stakes and weight to it for a game that is otherwise, just kind of at the tail end of March and doesn't really matter at all. I guess for the Lakers it does, and this win streak, which, we'll get into that in just a second, but for the Pistons, it's like, it goes without saying, it would have been nice if Cade was able to play in this game. But nonetheless, it does still matter because of the aforementioned streak of the Lakers and the way they've been surging for these last, 3 weeks. And I've just kind of like pulling a rabbit out of a hat and finding an identity out of nowhere. Just poof, here's an identity. Suddenly we try on defense, and I don't know what conversation was had, who convinced who, to get LeBron to be motivated enough to dive on the floor for loose balls. Like, not just once period. I guess once period is crazy, which did happen, but more than once. He's done it even more than once in the last 3 weeks, since the Lakers went on this win streak. So for the Pistons without Cade, we kind of need a little bit of a taste of what is it like for the Pistons to play a hard team, a team that's playing well right now, the way that they will in the playoffs with no Cade Cunningham? Also, by the way, important litmus test just for the team as a whole, whether Cade was playing or not, just against a Western Conference team that is, right now, good. Ostensibly, the Lakers are good. Again, out of nowhere, poof, the Lakers are good. Bizarre that, but at the end of the game, Austin Reeves is hitting a big shot, and Luka's the one that's hitting big shots and trying to play hero ball and shit like that. But I think, maybe I don't know if this will be the unsung hero. Maybe people will talk about this and identify it as a thing that, wow, this is a thing that happened. Well, in the last 4 minutes of the game, when the Lakers are down by 7 points and they will their way back into the game, that wasn't like because of Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves. It was because of Luke Kennard, getting fouled and hitting his shots, and DeAndre Ayton getting fouled and hitting his shots. Like, what? Huh? That's outrageous. Not with Luke. I guess with Luke that makes sense. He just hit a big game winner, and was it Orlando? So, I mean, they're getting it from everybody. Because I don't know. I was hesitant to even believe that this game mattered. For other than the fact that there's a non-zero chance, it seems that maybe perhaps even a decent chance that Luka will do something noteworthy in this game that will, he'll give us something to talk about. The guy's been averaging 40 for the last month, so it's, one would like to assume that he'll probably get near there, and and that just in and of itself, you would imagine would make the Lakers you'd assume it's going to be a good game because of Luka. That was true in the first quarter. He ended up with 18 or maybe 17 or 18 in the first quarter. And then he just kind of trailed off. He ended up with maybe 34 or 36 in the game. And he was, he was just otherwise pretty normal. No, it was just, it was crazy to watch a Lakers team that, I don't know, again, despite everything, I just wasn't that worried about them because I just kind of thought if you cut the head off of the snake and as long as because I just thought the whole team was just kind of like, yeah, Luka will get 40 and then Austin Reeves will get 40 and then LeBron will get a sneaky 20 and 10 and 8. What the fuck just happened? LeBron started this game until there was 8 minutes left in the third quarter. He had 0 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds. What the hell? Okay, and then he just kind of gets all these backdoor points and he just kind of piles them up at the end. That's just what he's doing. So I'm just okay, so if you just stop Luka, which maybe is a lot easier, it seems if it was as easy as just doing that, then he wouldn't be averaging 40 in the last 3 weeks, as we've been saying. And but otherwise, who are you getting it from? Well, if Rui Hachimura's not playing, then you have to rely on Jake LaRavia. I mean, the smart basketball people that you listen to, like the Zach Lowe's of the world. I mean, if you're Cam Thomas, maybe you wouldn't be saying that. If you're Cam Thomas, Zach Lowe, one of the smart basketball people. Well, who has a job right now? Zach Lowe has a job. Cam Thomas, as of this taping, an hour ago, was waived by the Milwaukee Bucks. Waived by the Milwaukee Bucks. Huh. It's those same smart basketball people that were like, yeah, Cam Thomas, no good. We don't want him. It's the same people. They like Jake LaRavia. I don't really, I've never gotten it. I like his, big fan of a t-shirt and a sleeve. I wish more guys, I wish like just the baggy t-shirt look, like the sleeves that go down to your elbows that, guys were wearing like 20 years ago in college basketball. And it was like a real like cotton t-shirt. So when they would get drenched in sweat, it would just be like a heavy. They were like wearing like a mop, basically. I wish that. Could you imagine if like Kevin Garnett, prime, like all millennia, all decade at least, perhaps all millennia, perhaps all time, sweat guy, Kevin Garnett. Imagine him wearing one of those shirts. And if it's not Jake LaRavia, it's DeAndre Ayton, who look because we've neglected the Lakers all year. We just haven't really talked about him at all. That means that DeAndre Ayton on this show has been like he's just kind of skated by, and we haven't really said anything mean about him. The NBA media sphere and the social media that comes with it. People have certainly got their licks in when it comes to DeAndre Ayton. People say very not nice things about him all the time. But it just so happens that in this game, I don't know, he's fine, he's serviceable, he's completely fine, did everything, he rebounded the ball well, and he positioned himself well, and I don't know. I just thought he was like, he skipped up. That's a guy who's playing center out there. I just thought he was completely fine. Jackson Hayes, it's like, yep, every game he'll have a couple cool big dunks, and you're like, yep, that's a guy who knows how to dunk the ball well, and that's kind of all he does. And then you look at the stat sheet, he has 3 blocks, and you don't really remember at any point. Maybe that's not true, but he'll have a big explosive loud dunk. I'm sorry, block every now and then. His dunks are really cool. Jackson Hayes is really, really good at dunks. Luke Kennard, obviously really good. I don't know. I just kind of thought the team was a bit of a one-trick pony. And despite, the evidence that we have in these last, 9-10 games from the Lakers, I was just like, all right, whatever. And then I kind of had to, this is just a very long-winded way of saying I kind of had to, take my medicine, so to speak, watching the Lakers tonight. Because I just thought they were actually a well-oiled machine who I thought looked like gave a shit. I don't know what JJ Redick, I don't know what's in the food. I don't know what's in the water in Los Angeles. Maybe it's akin to what's going on with the 49ers and the electrical substation and the injuries that are. What's just a different version of that JJ Redick has built around the Lakers practice facility that has just gotten the Lakers to just care more? Maybe it's like matcha or something. I don't know. And there's also people recirculating pictures of Luka at the start of the season and like just I don't know what he looked like and what he looks like now, and the sort of physical transformation. Some of it's so bizarre that I'm just like you fat boothed him or whatever that stuff was on like iPod Touch. There's just no way that's real. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I also keep seeing seemingly every other day. I don't know how often this guy's flying around. Like every other day, I keep seeing videos of people running into Nico Harrison at it, just like in airports, and people are like, I don't know. People are just like, of course they're gonna make fun of him like forever, but people are like, oh, like look at this guy, like he's not flying private anymore. Like that's because you traded Luka. Like that's what happens, buddy. Like now you gotta fly with us peasants. I'm like, that guy's a millionaire. Like, I don't like he's going to be hated forever, but he's a millionaire, Also is interesting because if he was flying private, which I just think he could, like, I just feel like with the Nike guys, like he's Phil Knight, like he probably still has a plane that I bet Nico's allowed to, I don't know, maybe he's allowed. Well, no, because with the relationship maybe with Nike, I wonder what that is like, actually. That's interesting. Luka, a Jordan athlete, but, it's a partner, sister company. It's the same thing. I wonder if trading Luka to the Lakers fractured, just like not like just like indirectly related, like if it fractured his relationship with anybody at Nike, because as a brand, as a you know what I mean, as a brand, like Luka getting sent to Los Angeles that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Also, just like conceptually as a brand, the sympathy that comes, I think, with a move like that. So using the move as the vehicle here, you could argue that it didn't matter where he got sent. You know what I mean? Like just getting uprooted when you're the superstar. We don't need to reopen this whole can of worms explaining why it was as bizarre as it was. You know what I mean? But like for a player to go through that, we were all like, this poor guy, like this sucks for him. Like this is really terrible for him. In the middle of the night, like no notice at all. Like this just happens. You think you have like the next 20 years of your life planned, and then it's just, you know what I mean? Like, you as an audience to that sympathize with that. So no matter where he got traded, you know what I mean? I think that there was sympathy for him no matter what, and that is a net positive for his brand. Nike would view it, or Jordan would view it, as a net positive for his brand. Now imagine that on top of that, it's the Lakers. But we didn't, and we were mad that the Lakers were just gift wrapped, you know, a superstar, and now their timeline's completely reset, and, you know, the next 10, 15 years now look completely different for the Lakers. I mean, just completely night and day. It's not even close. It's impossible to quantify how much of how big of a gift it was, right? Well, but we didn't blame Luka for that. We blamed Nico. So that was not a net negative for Luka's brand as far as that. So you know what I mean? So that's why I don't think it would have affected his connects at Nike. And maybe some of them, if some of those important, you know, the Phil Knights of the world or whoever the hell, were like closer with Luka than, and maybe I'm, you know, reading way too much of this and thinking way too deeply about it. But I say all this just to say, if it affected, because we were talking about this came up because of planes. Yeah, I don't know, because maybe it did affect it enough that he's flying commercial. I'm just saying it's millions of dollars. Maybe he's going to be hated forever, and I do think that matters. And I just don't think there's any way he doesn't care about that. I think it's crazy that he still lives in Texas. I think that's outrageous. But you know, you got kids in school. It's like, how reasonable is it? We can't just, you know, you can't just expect them to move. I don't know. It seems like it would suck to just leave the house every day and, you know, people just kind of like drag their nuts on your head. Like, that sucks. Like, you're at the grocery store and people like throw eggs at you. Like, that sucks. You're at a steakhouse and like you're sitting out on the patio and somebody just like walks by who's not even at the restaurant. They're just outside. You're the one that's sitting outside and by the sidewalk, and somebody just walks by you and records you and is like, you're a pussy and I hope you die. Like, that sucks. You're with your family. Like, that sucks. You know, it sucks that you have to. I'm really not trying to, you know, sympathize with Nico here, but just think about it from his perspective. Look, he can have millions of dollars, but all this shit is still true, right? Because if he was flying private, people would be like, oh, he's a piece of shit and he's flying private. You know what I mean? But now, fuck him, because he wants to fly. But he's flying economy, you know, with normal people, and you know, now he's still now it's, you know, people are gonna dunk on him either way. No, I get it. No, I totally get it. I'm just saying, think about how much it sucks. Like, if you're him, I don't know why you wouldn't just at every restaurant you go to, hey, can I sit in the back in the darkest corner of the restaurant? Can I sit in the kitchen? You know what I mean? I don't know, something like that. I want to dine here. I want to, you know, patron here, but can I do it but you know, you do that in a McDonald's, and then you're Nico Harrison and you're eating McDonald's in like in the bathroom in the stall. Ugh. You know, you're loitering in there for like 20 minutes. You're Nico Harrison. You have your pants around your ankles just so the illusion that you're going to the bathroom, so that nobody thinks. But you know what I mean. But you people can hear you chewing your big arch. The big arch sandwich, man. Goddamn, people just keep emailing every day about the big arch. I really need to stay on track here. We'll do a big arch. We'll do a big arch review later, but a lot of opinions flying into the Coping Hour inbox about that. So I think we've covered all the bases on the Lakers. Okay. I think we covered all the bases. We did a little sidetrack on Luka there and his brand and blah, blah, blah. Nico Harrison on planes and how much it would kind of suck to be him a little bit. You know, basically every day you're Nico Harrison and you leave the house. And the moment that you leave your driveway, it's like a episode of Jackass where anything can happen. At any moment, some guy could pop out of the bushes and kick you in the nuts just because you're Nico Harrison. You know, a guy could walk up behind you with a pair of clippers and then just like shave off like a little part of your head because you're Nico Harrison, and you take that gamble. Unfortunately, we are not denoting on this show whether it is right or whether it is wrong, but just observing it as a behavioral pattern and a phenomenon that I'm sure does happen every single day that Nico Harrison leaves the house. This is what you are opting into if you continue to live in Texas, is the thing. So where would be the safest place to go? Because no matter where you go, you're the guy that, you know what I mean? You got to go somewhere where people don't care, but you got to do like, I think I just need to get back to the game. This thing has run its course. We've said our piece about the Lakers. Let's drive it back to the Pistons. Because we do the setup of, and it's an important litmus test. Pistons haven't played well against the West. They really have not. In the second half of the season, they have not. They beat the Hospital Thunder in one game, but otherwise just cannot for the life of them beat the Spurs. And is that, not to keep kicking the can down the road and just talking about the Pistons in this Lakers game. You want to do this? You want to do this too, just while we're hot. Teams that I don't think that the Pistons can beat right now, if the finals were today, or nothing's going to change. I really don't think between now and 2.5 months from now when the finals are going on, or just 2 months from now, I don't think this is going to change. Teams in no particular order, teams that I don't think the Pistons can beat right now. San Antonio, I think, is number one. And I think the reason that I think they just have to be number one. It's obviously because of Victor Wembanyama, but it's more specifically because, literally everything about, fundamentally everything about what makes Cade an effective player on offense is what he does with the ball from within 17 feet of the rim, right? Whether that's, I don't know, getting to his spot or creating a shot and, getting a look off, or, dishing the ball on a pick and roll or whatever the fuck and giving the ball to somebody else. Victor Wembanyama's radius for doing disruptive shit within that same perimeter, within 17 feet of the rim, it's the whole thing. He's too disruptive. Cade can't do those little 15 footers that he likes to do off the roll. He can't do it because Victor Wembanyama will disrupt the shot. And so the one thing that Cade just doesn't do very well, I think I've said what I'm about to say 15 times this year. My eyes tell me this is the best year that he's ever had from three. When I watch him play this year, I just think they go in more, but the numbers don't actually back that up. And the truth is that he's just kind of never been a very great 3-point shooter. He's just kind of okay, but some nights he has some mega banger nights, and you would kind of have to rely on one of those, right, against San Antonio. But it is really, that's the one team that I think matches up against Detroit from a physicality perspective. And that I think one of those games, if they played a 7-game series, how many of those games have at least one of the teams under 90 points? 3. I think at least 3 of those games, somebody's not scoring 90. It's crazy. Even this Pistons Lakers game, honestly, do I think the Pistons can beat the Lakers? Yes, they just did. And also, if the Lakers got to the finals, clearly some voodoo should happen. But you know what I mean? No way. No way. The Pistons would 5 games. 5 games. I think the Pistons would win. You saw it in this game, though. At the beginning of the game, we're 8 minutes into the game, and the score was 7-7. It was real defense. The teams were playing really hard. Everybody cared. That's what I said. It felt like a big game. It felt like there were real stakes because we're 8 minutes into the game, and the score is 7-7. Detroit and San Antonio, that would kind of be, you might see an end of a quarter that's 15-17, 15-18, something just weird. And I think it would just be too tough of a team. And what also is annoying though, and to be fair, in some way, and this isn't cope. Look, San Antonio kicked the shit out of Detroit both times that they played in the last month and a half. Straight up, they just did, right? But what is also true is that what is annoying to me is in both of those games, the anomaly was that San Antonio shot the ball really well, leagues better, at least 10 places higher in where they are in the league average standings against Detroit shooting the ball than they otherwise do on a night by night average. They were just 10 times better. For a team that, both Detroit and San Antonio are bottom of the pack in terms of 3-point attempts and percentage, two teams that just don't really, which is a problem when you're playing Victor Wembanyama. If you're not a big time 3-point shooting team, when all of the shit that you run is within 20 feet of the rim, brother, you're playing Victor Wembanyama. Everything, his reach is 20 feet around the rim, right? And what's annoying is when those two, when you're locking antlers with that team and they otherwise are just as not good as shooting the ball as you, but when they just are in the 2 games that you play them, all right, well, that's basketball. That's just kind of basketball, and could it go the opposite way in a 7-game series against San Antonio? Yeah, I guess it could. But they still have Victor Wembanyama. And where at least with Oklahoma City, I really was thinking about this the whole game. Why am I more scared of San Antonio? That doesn't make any sense at all. Than Oklahoma City? Because Oklahoma City, I don't know, they have a guy he's going to win another MVP, so it's going to be 2 in a row for Shea. Okay. All right. The people have already started to vilify him. He really did like a really big time, like, I think, checkmate move the other day, though. I'm so glad that just an NBA player said this, because he's just right about this. Do you see that quote where Shea was like, I don't ever see Denver fans complain about the foul calls that Jokic gets, or Laker fans complain about the foul calls that Luka gets, or, you know what I mean? Or Knick fans with Jalen Brunson. He was like naming, you know what I mean? Yeah. Yep. That's kind of it, right? And even if we call kind of all in the back of our heads, and you're going to say it's different, which I think would be true because the context of some of these players doing it, I think, does matter. Like, is the way that Jokic draws, no, this is not a good, I don't know. There are just some guys, you know what I mean? Like, I think about like James Harden or Joel Embiid with the rip through. My least favorite. That shit is not basketball. The two things in basketball that are, I think, the most sickening, I don't respect you as a player moves that you can do. A rip through. I hate that hack shit so much. And then also, and the NBA has really tried to kill this, but they just haven't. It's still a disaster in college basketball. When you pump fake on a shot, defender leaves their feet, and they're just suspended in the air, and you pretend like you're going up for a shot, but you're actually just lunging yourself into the defender, and then, you're just, oh my God. It's such a, I don't even have, there's really not like a joke that I could, because I think it's so beneath just humanity as a species. I think that people do that. I think it's fucking disgusting. And I think it's, what's the punishment that, I think it's a flagrant 2. Seriously, get off the floor. I hate that shit so much. So there are levels to it, is the point, though. You know what I mean? Like, there are guys. I just think it was an interesting observation to hear from a player, and one that we otherwise kind of already know. Like, yeah, things are different when it's your favorite player that's doing the same thing that everybody else does that you hate. It's different when it's your favorite player, and we will make up reasons to explain why it's different. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm getting at. So, okay. So that guy's probably going to win MVP again, right? If he doesn't go down with a major injury. I don't know what happens if he does. I don't want to say in all likelihood, things are going to get pretty wild in the West in the playoffs, but like, it's not crazy to think that the Thunder are going to win back-to-back titles and that Shea will win back-to-back MVPs and finals MVPs. So like, why am I so confident against that team than I am versus San Antonio? I don't know. There's also and I'm going to fudge these numbers a little bit, but in the last couple years, it's like without Jalen Williams, Shea is like 50-5, and then without Chet, he's also like 50-5. What? So he just doesn't need anybody. He just scores 30 a game. He just wins, back-to-back MVPs and maybe back-to-back finals MVPs. It's crazy that we aren't already. I just feel like if this was a different guy, we would be talking about him in a different way. Like if this was Luka, I don't know. If this was Anthony Edwards, I don't know. I just think the way that people would be talking about him, like in the context of NBA history and making these, crazy comparisons. Like if this was Anthony Edwards, people would be calling him Jordan. Like they just would. But because it's Shea and he's in Oklahoma City, like, I don't know. We're just not. And so these guys are just winners. They just care about winning. That's really all that they care about. It's hard to rattle them, it seems like, unless you're Victor Wembanyama. But that's kind of just basketball. It's just kind of how it goes these days. It's just kind of the part of the game. It's Victor Wembanyama. It's gonna piss you off, So why am I not scared of this team? I don't know. And not scared of them is not the right way to say it. That is not what I mean at all. Not scared of them. No, I mean, scared of them. There's not a team that I'm scared of that I don't think that the Pistons could at least play. What is it though? I don't know. Like every week and a half, every 10 days, Oklahoma City will just have a really bad shooting game, but like a shooting game that you think is going to completely derail the season. I swear that happens every week and a half. And when that happens in the playoffs, I don't remember which series it was. I think they were playing Denver. Was it last year? And they maybe it was the Clippers or something, but somebody stole a game in Oklahoma City, and Shea was like walking off the court, like laughing, like whatever, like you can have that one, like that's fine, like whoops, we lost that one, like that's too bad, but like, we'll come back. Yeah, I guess like they're just not rattled. Like I don't know. So what do I mean then? Because I'm doing a double. I'm contradicting myself. I say like, if I say, man, I guess it just is the way that we talk about it in our heads. But it just, is in the media. People will just be like, oh, is Oklahoma City in trouble? But it just goes back to what I said. Like these guys just care about hooping. And for the last, 2 years now, like on a real level, that's just like what they do. But I don't know. I as the season goes along, they have just seemed more mortal, I guess, is the only word that comes to mind right now. Whereas 6 months ago, not you don't even not that. Oh my God, say it. 4 months ago, we were talking about what 73-9. We're like, are they gonna 74-8? Is it gonna happen? And then very quickly it didn't happen. Over the next like 3 weeks, I think they lost like 4 games. Whoops, that didn't happen. So I don't know. People say a lot of injuries in Oklahoma City. No, for sure. Maybe it's just coupled with San Antonio just kind of arriving further down the timeline in a more established way than a lot of us maybe we're thinking is maybe what it was. I don't know. Denver, I'm not concerned about the Pistons playing Denver. I think they could beat them in 5 or 6 games too. Just because maybe it's just as long as if the Lakers for the last 3 or 4 weeks have been as good as they have been, it's basically been the same stretch that Denver has just been poop. If they'll play super competitively or just outright better than you for the first 38 minutes of the game, and then in the last 5, they're the Wizards. They're the Nets. It's bizarre. The Cam Johnson thing. I don't know if enough has been made about a guy who his numbers are like fine, I guess, but when you watch him play versus what we were all saying when the trade happened with Michael Porter Jr., I don't even know if it's fair to like, not even to compare him to Michael Porter Jr. and like the production. Like, I don't think you could put their numbers against each other. Even if the version that we were getting in Cam Johnson was 2 times better, I don't think it would be fair to do the numbers because this is Michael Porter Jr. in Brooklyn, baby. Like, this is what, you know what I mean? Like, this was like his destiny all along. Like, this is just kind of like the perfect spot for him. I just think this is just fun where he just gets to put up Michael Porter Jr. numbers and like really hoop. And he's been like really good. And Cam Johnson, like that's, you know what I mean? Like it's just different. It's Michael Porter Jr. But that doesn't mean that we didn't all kind of collectively think, when was it in the offseason that trade happened? I don't even remember, but we didn't all like as if we didn't all collectively think, oh my God, like that could be a balance tipper in the West. Like that could be significant. That could be a big thing. It hasn't really played out. That way yet. So Jamal Murray made the All-Star game this year, right? Did he finally do it? I believe that's what happened. And I apologize, Nuggets fans. I apologize, Jamal Murray. Unfortunately, if your name is not Cade Cunningham or Jalen Duren or JB Bickerstaff. Hey, JB Bickerstaff. I don't remember if you made the All-Star game or not. Just kind of, it doesn't, at this point, you know what I mean? Doesn't really, you throw it away. Doesn't really matter. Jamal Murray, though, this year, yeah, he's kind of in the same way that I think, you know what, if there was like a Jaylen Brown award this year for like guy who like maintained the ship and, did the best that he could, or the Patchwork Award is maybe what you could say. Well, Jaylen Brown would get the Patchwork Award. But I think that you can't snub Jamal Murray. He's invited to the ceremony at least. You know what I mean? He gets to walk the red carpet at the Patchwork Award. Because I thought he was, for a guy who I've never really, despite even during the championship run, when he's shown it that he's able to be Superman, I've just kind of never believed it. I've always just thought it was when he has like game-winning shots or like, clutch shots in the last few minutes of a game. I've just kind of always been like fluke, like every time, like, I don't know. This year, he's just been really special. And I also think he really got a bad shake during the Olympics 2 years ago. I don't remember if it was his knee or maybe at a hip or an ankle. I don't remember what it was, but he had like a lower body injury. And people were just dogging him during the Olympics in France. And I thought it was such a bummer, and I thought it was so disingenuous that the whole time we knew he was hurt. We knew he was hurt for the Nuggets, and then we knew he was hurt. I don't remember what the timeline on it was.
But it was like a well-known thing that he was injured, and I don't know. People were unfair, and his Team Canada. I don't remember who knows what happened to Team Canada in the Olympics? All that anybody remembers is that the United States won gold. We did win gold. Ladies and gentlemen. And then I don't know if people remember just a short time ago when the United States also won gold in the Winter Olympics over the Canadians in hockey. Whoops. And then let's be fair. We did not complete the trifecta. The Venezuelans did win. They did win the World Baseball Classic. So they got, and I think so we're even now, even Stevens. They get baseball. We get Nicolas Maduro. We're good there. Jamal Murray is big time. Also kind of got, I don't mean to bring it back up, but he out of all the people who have had some sort of a scandalous or salacious, shall we say, photo or video, you know what I mean, of them come out, I would say that Jamal Murray, I think, has kind of gotten off, all things considered, pretty easy for the video that came out of him. You know what I mean? Remember that? Remember when we all watched that like 1,000 times? How many times did you guys watch that? I think I only saw it like once or twice, but I heard about other people who watched it a lot of times. I don't even know how you could you find that video anymore. I'm sure it wouldn't be that hard. The video that I think has more, and what am I asking here? You know what I mean? Like, what am I really, well, I don't know. In culture, people don't really, I don't know. They don't. People mention Draymond's little thing all the time on a Snapchat story. I don't know. People talk about that. People be talking about that when Draymond accidentally or on purpose, I don't know, for maybe exhibitionism purposes. It's unknowable. Posted his penis on Snapchat during FIBA or was it during the Summer Olympics? I don't remember. But people still, I don't know. They bring that up to this day. What are some other famous ones? So what am I asking? I don't know. I think people in culture need to remember that Jamal Murray. Wasn't it like on his Instagram story that he posted a video? He was being fellatiated and he posted it I think on his Instagram story, and it was during COVID. I don't think was it pre-bubble. I think it. Man, it would be so funny if it was during the bubble. Obviously, there's no way that it was. It would be a way bigger story if it was. But yeah, that was a thing that we all remember that. But apparently, society does not remember that, and so that's why I can't be scared of the Nuggets, because I don't think he's had to face the music enough for that video. I mean, what's there to face? Cool video, like cool. That's cool that what's happening in the video, like it's cool. I don't know. It's cool. Like, I don't know. Is it good behavior? Was what Jamal Murray doing, what he was doing in that video, was it good behavior? I don't know if it was. I mean, I don't think they were married. I don't know. So maybe it's not. And then, filming the act. I don't know. Maybe that's not good behavior. Posting it seems, out of all of this, out of everything that we've laid out, I think maybe posting it on the internet is what you could throw the flag on, perhaps, and say is bad behavior. But if it's an accident, people. The Ray Allen tweet famously, I'm getting there. Hashtag I'm getting there. It happens. Ryan Russillo had a little bit of a whoopsie within I don't know, was it like a month or two ago? It was during was it during the Super Bowl weekend when Ryan Russillo on his Instagram story just like posted a rack, like a bear, it's just a rack. And he, at like 4 a.m, just posted a rack. And just bear rack. Okay. All right. Stuff like that. Look, it's not good behavior. It's not good behavior. Well, there we go. Then I found the root of it. Well, but what he was doing was just like, what is he, a fucking role model? He's like, I don't know. He's just hanging out. Sometimes that's just what you do when you hang out, is I don't know if you take videos of it, but sometimes when you're going to hang out, you shave before. I don't know. Sometimes people do that, but in this instance, maybe he was rushed. And so maybe he was caught off guard and he didn't have time. And he just came. I don't know. It's unknowable. I can't be scared of that guy. Let's move this thing in a different direction. Let's get our seatbelts back on and let's get back on the road. Let's actually just talk about the game for a second. Let's do Pistons Lakers. From the Pistons perspective, hey man, Daniss Jenkins, we've anointed him, we've crowned him as the single best two-way player in the history of the NBA. Two-way contracts have not been around for that long in the NBA. The list would not be that impressive, but it is without question that we can say that Daniss Jenkins is the single best two-way player in the history of the NBA. For a guy who, with all due respect to him, 6 months ago, nobody knew who he was. Fast forward to today, and yeah, if you're a Pistons fan, you know that he's like, him and like Isaiah Stewart are like the lifeblood of the team. Otherwise, there's a pretty good chance that unless, otherwise when you hear me bring him up on the show that you don't really know anything about him and that maybe you couldn't even pick him out of a lineup. Folks, I'm telling you, this guy is like a real hooper, like for real. He had 30 tonight for Detroit and like the one guy all year that when Detroit has absolutely needed a punch and when they've needed a second guy to just like go get a bucket, whether Cade is playing or not, Daniss Jenkins has been that guy. And for the last, I don't know, maybe like a month, you could say, like post All-Star break up until the last couple games, Daniss Jenkins had not been very good at all. Like as soon as he got his contract converted, we've been talking about this part of it specifically a little bit recently, so I'm going to be repeating myself, but it was frustrating because as soon as he got his contract converted and he was like a quote unquote real member of the team, it was basically then that everything that he had been doing all season was the exact same. The shots just weren't going in. And so people really started to turn on him. But man, as soon as Cade is, he's out for an extended period up until the start of the playoffs, like, for a team that, the Lakers, for whether or not I was scared of them, were really, they were a hot team coming into the night. They were shooting the ball really well coming into the night and playing really hard coming into the night. And Daniss Jenkins, it was a game from the whole team, to credit the whole team. Like every one of those like 50-50 shots, like those gotta have it shots, like even in the first quarter, those gotta have it shots, the ones that make it a 4-point lead instead of a 1-point lead, like gotta have this right here, with 6 minutes left in the quarter, like gotta have it. The Pistons were just hitting all of those tonight, like all of them, like Kevin Huerter especially, easily Kevin Huerter's best game with Detroit tonight. Also, like defended really well tonight. Had one where he just kind of, I don't want to like give him too much credit and say he jumped into a passing lane and he's octopus arms, and no, the ball just kind of got thrown in his direction. He just kind of reached his arms out and picked off the ball. But still, I don't know. He was, he's quick on his feet, and he was hitting some big time shots. He hit a good handful of those gotta have it shots. And he had one where he, went up for a dunk and in transition and got fouled by Reeves. It didn't get called, but it was a tough finish. And, some really big buckets from him. And it was nice to just finally, see him out of the doghouse and, like, actually playing real minutes and actually getting involved. And I think why he was getting so many looks on offense was because of how damn hard he was playing on defense, honestly. And so those looks just, converting over to the other end. And maybe that's why he ended up, getting more and more minutes. And they did have a lot of injuries. It was Cade, Stu, and no Sasser. So like, yeah, you kind of had to play Kevin Huerter, but he really earned it. He proved that he deserved, otherwise maybe they would have played Tobias a little bit more. Like, I don't know. I think Huerter really showed that he deserved to be out there, and but it goes back to Daniss Jenkins, man. I mean, what's crazy? Can I just say this? Like, again, for a guy, a superstar, I would say like pay him whatever he wants. No, you can't pay that guy more than like $10 million. That's crazy. Even that sounds right. I have no idea. I don't know. We're still figuring out what new salary sheets look like. Like, I think you're going to have guys who are in the 40 to like 70 annual range. And then everybody else is going to, maybe you'll have like one 20 to 25 guy. And then everybody else is going to be like 5 to like maybe 12. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We're still kind of figuring out. So, like, I don't know. Let me just say this. He's amazing, blah, 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 blah. So the game comes down to the last, 3 shots of this game were the Pistons out of it. 2 shots of this game were the Pistons out of a timeout with 9 seconds left. They're down 1. And out of a timeout, the play was give the ball to Daniss Jenkins. He's going to dribble to his spot and take a 13-foot baseline fall away from the basket look. That's the shot. You had 2 minutes and a timeout, and that was the look. By the way, and the shot went in. But by the way, if you look at the replay, well, Nick, maybe he just ISO'd and he saw something. No, if you watch the replay on the baseline, his eyes are at the spot that he shoots the ball the entire time. That's where he was going. No matter what happened, that's where he was going. So that was the shot. It otherwise was not a good, I didn't think that was a good shot, but it did go in and it was a tough bucket, right? And then on the opposite end, right? Oh, right. So that was the last 3 shots. So that happened, right? The Pistons go up 1. And then on the opposite end, it was, I don't know, Luka takes the ball across half court. They timeout, advance the ball, inbound the ball into the front court, and then Luka dribble, 15-footer, one leg. And usually these shots go in for me, and it just clangs and it doesn't go in. Pistons get the rebound. Okay, that was the shot, really? Okay, whatever. Pistons get out of a timeout. That was the shot. Okay, whatever. You weren't looking anywhere else. That was a shot. Okay, whatever. That was a shot. You're Luka Doncic. That's a shot. What? So the Pistons got fouled, I think. They go to the line, make both of them. They're up 3. So the last shot for the Lakers, call timeout. And the last shot for the Lakers, this was the shot, by the way. 4 seconds left on the clock. Inbound the ball. Luka dribble. He backed into a corner, 30, 28 feet away from the basket. Kind of like pivoting on one foot. Could pass the ball. He could pass the ball to Austin Reeves or like LeBron across the court. He could do it. But instead, he kind of just does like a turnaround from 31 feet. And it was honestly like 6 inches away from ripping the net and not even touching the rim and going in. And that would have, you know what I mean, and going to overtime. It was close, honestly, all things considered. But that was the shot, really? So some really nasty for what was otherwise a really good game, a really entertaining game. It really was. That was the shot. Out loud came out of my mouth 3 times. That shot, the aforementioned Daniss Jenkins shot that was on the baseline, which just was not a good shot. I'm not trying to sound like Paul George. It wasn't a good shot, but it went in, and it was a tough bucket. So, whatever. That's basketball. That's hoops. Sometimes the bad shots go in, and Daniss Jenkins is a hero, and he has 30. That's right. He went to the line at the end of the game, and it gave him 29 and 30, which is now a career high for him. His previous high was 26 points, which would have happened this year. That might have been like the Wizards game earlier this year, where he had a game winner from the corner. Look, the guy can get to his spots. It was a really good game, but man, some really just nasty, sloppy, gross hoops at the end of this game. Out loud, the shot was in the air. I said, that's the shot, and then bam, doesn't even touch the rim. Whoops-a-daisy, Daniss Jenkins. And then I love this, man. I love this guy because they're doing the, right after the game, Natalie Kerwin. Daniss Jenkins, the Lakers just were on a 9-game winning streak, and you guys beat them. How does it feel? And he was like, yeah, dog, I'm going to keep chucking. Hell yes. That's real Hooper shit. That's what you want to hear from your guy who was recently converted from a 2-way contract and just gave the Lakers 30 on your home floor to give you 52 wins on the season. That's what you want to hear. I'm going to keep chucking. Brother, that's what we need from you for real. It's just this. Because everything I said, everything he was doing was the exact same, but his shots just weren't going in. Yeah, except until tonight happened, and then now they're going in again. Great. We have no notes. Even when they weren't going in, I wasn't mad at him because I was like, whatever. He's been playing out of his mind this season. It'll come back around eventually. Like, he can't, be out of his mind for 75 games out of the year. Like, that's just not reasonable. I got to say this. So this is my last thing on the Pistons, right? Okay, here's my last thing on the Pistons. One little apology that I gotta I'm gonna get it out of the way a month or 4 weeks out ahead of time, because when the Pistons play in the playoffs, who knows how many games that's gonna be without Cade? Who knows? It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4. I'd be surprised if it was the whole series. It sounds like there's no way he's out until the second round. If as long as we're not playing Charlotte, I think we'll get there. But if we're playing Charlotte, we got to get out of the first round. No matter what, we got to get out of the first round, right? But here's where the apology is. And Pistons fans, some of you aren't going to like this, okay? But I'm doing this to the national audience on behalf of, I'm not going to do it on behalf of Pistons fans, but I'm just saying I see what's going to be on national TV, okay? This Pistons team without Cade in a playoff series, it's not going to be for you. I don't think you're going to like it. It's not very pretty. They play well. They play hard. They win games, right? But it's not pretty. It's not flashy. It's not. It's physical. There's a lot of bodies flying around. Most of it's played around the rim, honestly. A lot of screens. It takes guys a lot of time to get across half court on both ends. Teams when they play Detroit, they just pick everybody up like the whole time for like most of the game. Okay, it's a different experience, but with no Cade, what I'm saying is they just don't have a guy on this team that really captivates. When he touches the ball, you're like, wow, what's he gonna do on this possession? That happens with Cade all the time, 15 times a game. You're like, ooh, I gotta see what's gonna happen here. We don't really have that guy right now. Look, they're gonna win games again. They're gonna play well. But I think people are going to be like, really? Like, this is such a boring team and blah, 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 blah. I think I'm just getting ahead of it, and I'm just saying I don't think you guys are going to enjoy the product. I'm not going to care. As long as they're winning games, I'm not going to care. If they're losing games, like if they're playing Charlotte, and God forbid, they're down they're going into game 4 down 1-2. Like I'm gonna start to get like, you know what I mean, like really nervous. No, I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't want to. I've been speaking a little bit too positively about Charlotte in the context of playing Detroit in the first round for the last week. Little too confident on their behalf for my liking, and I need to, in real time, I need to say this out loud to myself. I need to tweak. I need to correct that behavior. I need to stop doing that because I think this Pistons team can beat mostly anybody. I think mostly anybody. Yeah. And speaking of the playoffs, we got an email, actually. Maybe this would be nice to end on. copingoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically, email available in the description wherever it is that you listen to this program. This one comes into us from Josh. Josh, welcome to the show, brother. Subject line, NBA playoffs are critical this year and Nebraska basketball. That's right. So the first part of this will go back to the NBA playoffs and it'll tie back in and blah, blah, blah. The first part of this is about Nebraska, the men's team, the college team. They're on a heater right now in March Madness, and this guy's got a little bit about them. So we'll do this first because I do think this is worth, giving a little hat tip to. So, hey, Nick, happy first day of madness to you and yours. This was sent a couple of days ago. First, a celebratory segment of the email where I point out that this is officially the greatest season in Nebraska men's basketball history. What has otherwise been a mostly pathetic, achievementless program just won their first ever tournament game and reached the most wins in a season in program history. This goofy cast of characters did what had been impossible, and the state is celebrating like they just won a championship. I, like you, did not attend the college that I cheer for. In Nebraska, the Huskers are kind of the only thing in town, so you grow up just knowing that you root for Big Red almost no matter what. I attended a smaller college in the state. Parenthetically, you said who just won their second consecutive D2 wrestling title. Shout out, close parentheses. But the coverage and following of their sports is meager as the city the college is in is only about 40,000 people. While I had largely been checked out of following this team for the last several years due to them anyways. Always, you say anyways finding embarrassment? I think you meant to say, yeah, always finding embarrassing ways to lose whenever it matters. This season was full of big wins and good vibes and everything you want from college basketball. And for it to culminate in tournament success is such a great feeling. I fully expect, this guy, he didn't even know. Josh did not know. He wrote, I fully expect Vanderbilt to smoke them on Saturday, but we are enjoying this while it lasts. Okay, so for those who don't know, Nebraska played Vanderbilt in what will probably end up being the game of the tournament. I don't know. I mean, there are some good teams. That St. John's Kansas game was really good too. Really had a lot of fun watching that. I actually wasn't watching the Nebraska Vanderbilt game live. I only saw the major plays after the fact. But major game, Nebraska won. They're on to the Sweet 16, and aren't they playing Iowa? So there's a non-zero chance that Nebraska is going to end up in the Elite Eight. So that would be outrageous. And yeah, that's cool. Nebraska beat So I don't have this exactly right, but Nebraska started the year like 12-0 or something. Like they started the year really good. They beat Michigan State early on, like in December, maybe it was January. Like they beat them early on in Big Ten play. Nebraska basketball. That's kind of all that I got. But I do think it's worth noting, and it's also just funny as a snapshot. Like for good reason that you didn't believe that Nebraska would beat Vanderbilt. Most people were with you on that one, and it's just funny. It's March, and you got to win 6 games in a row. And for Vanderbilt, they had to play Nebraska, and they couldn't do it. You know what I mean? It's crazy. And that's it. That's all I want to say. Just a nice little hat tip to Nebraska. So now here it is, how it ties into the NBA playoffs or what we were talking about a minute ago, how that all ties in. So Josh says, now on to the criticality of this NBA playoffs. 2026 is, as we all agree, an awesome year to be a general fan of sports in the United States. The Winter Olympics were sick. The NFL season was fun. You say boosted by my team winning the Super Bowl, admittedly. Yeah, well, that would certainly do it. Like me as a Lions fan, I'm like, yeah, this NFL season kind of sucked. Like, I don't know. The Bears were just like Ben Johnson was just rocked. Like, I don't know. As a Lions fan, I don't know. Could have been better. So, just two different Americas. 2 Americas there, as Bomani Jones would say. Back to the email. The World Baseball Classic got the most hype that it ever has. The World Cup is happening here in America, and obviously things like March Madness and the College World Series pretty much always deliver. My contention is that this NBA playoffs, especially the finals, needs to meet the moment. In this stretch of the average, I'm sorry, I skipped a line there. In the stretch of the general public being more engaged with sports fans and in sports than average, the NBA, for the long-term engagement health of the sport, needs to rise to the occasion and deliver a great series and performances. Now more than ever would be the time for Lakers Celtics or Lakers Knicks or Wembanyama against one of the Eastern Conference teams. We need big performances in big markets to ensure the networks are fully engaged down the stretch. Now is not the time for some annoying-ass SGA flopping his way back to back-to-back or smaller, even though it would be fun. Markets like Detroit or Cleveland making the finals, it needs to be big, and it needs to be dramatic to keep pace with everything else happening. Curious on your thoughts. Do we get LeBron going for number 5 on the Knicks' first finals this century? Does the quality and narrative drama matter? Is there any actual downside for the health of the sport if the NBA Finals don't get similar attention as all these other things going on? Or am I concerned over nothing here? This is interesting, man. This is really interesting. And I will say, I don't know if any sports event happening this year will be able to have the growth in viewership that the World Baseball Classic did. I mean, holy smokes. You know, if you look at the ratings from the last 3, it's doubled or tripled. It's insane, man, the amount of people that are, like the fact that, so what was it, the semifinal against, was it the Dominican Republic that the United States was playing in the World Baseball, in the WBC? So was that the game that was happening concurrently with the Oscars, and it like held with the Oscars, like basically the same amount of people? Like it didn't really matter that the Oscars were on, like people were watching the WBC. That's insane. That's insane. And that's what happens, by the way. Like when the real players are allowed to play in this thing and everybody takes it super seriously and they care a lot. The ratings for that were outrageous, you know, and it's not that fair to, you know, compare anything else to that because there hasn't been, I mean, I guess for the World Cup, the biggest change, because the finals aren't changing. Like the biggest change in the World Baseball Classic is just more and more players, you know, now that they're starting to take it seriously and the players, you know, the MLB players can actually play. You know, every year it's just going to get bigger because the, you know, bigger and bigger names are going to buy into it and it'll just snowball. Well, the NBA Finals are just the NBA Finals. The World Cup, at least, I guess they have added teams this year. They expanded the field. So yes, that means that the ratings will just be better. You know, there are more ways to access the games than there ever have been, which means that the ratings just will be better. You know what I mean? Like that's just kind of how it goes. It's the World Cup. It'll be the most viewed thing that happens at any point this year, period, no matter what. And so for the NBA Finals, I think that's very interesting. That's going to be happening, you know, right as the World Cup is either starting or will have already started. Like it's gonna overlap. The end of the finals and the beginning of the World Cup is in all likelihood going to overlap, right? I think maybe it's like June 13th or something that the World Cup starts. Yeah, usually the finals are still on by then, you know? So that is interesting. You know, what if it's in a host city? Like what kind of, that's an interesting spectacle. Now, if that's Oklahoma City versus, I was going to say Oklahoma City versus the Lakers. Well, I guess that can't happen. I'm trying to think who would it have to be in a host city? Like I guess New York. They're doing them in they're playing in East Rutherford, aren't they? I think they're playing in New Jersey, or maybe is that just I don't know. I swear they're playing in New Jersey. I know they're playing in Foxborough, but you can't say Boston because they're playing in the Patriots play in Foxborough. That's where like France and Norway, like France and Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe playing a World Cup game at the stadium where like Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski and Drake May and Tom Brady, you know what I mean? That's outrageous. So you can't really say Boston. I guess those people would be staying in Boston probably. Yeah, Oklahoma City, Boston. I do think you're kind of onto something though. Because what if it's the Lakers and the Knicks? That would be massive. If it's the Celtics and the Lakers. If it's the Celtics and the Lakers, all right? And that's happening at like, maybe we're dumb for thinking that matters, but I agree with you for thinking that matters. But like, in what sense do I think that matters? Like, what am I saying that? I'm saying it in the sense that for a sport like the NBA, that we have a lot of stuff to talk about that has nothing to do with basketball, but reflects poorly on, talk about Luka and his brand, reflects poorly on the brand of the NBA, like the aspiration stuff with Kawhi that is just going unaddressed, just to name one thing, The Chauncey Billups FBI thing is another thing. Like, we could go down a laundry list of things that, like, maybe the NBA should say something or do something about, and it's just kind of like, it would be nice if the national spotlight, the eyes of... Now, the NBA Finals being Boston and Los Angeles, and overlapping with the World Cup. And why does that matter? In what world does it matter? Well, I don't know. It doesn't mean, I guess, necessarily that soccer fans are going to be like, oh, and this other cultural thing is happening in the States. Like, now I'm going to check in because, you know what I mean? What? Maybe they would give a shit if it was the Lakers and the Knicks. If it was two massive brands like that. Yeah, I guess. I think I'm confusing. I think this would be more fun of a conversation to have in person where, like, it doesn't matter. Because I really think we sound dumb for thinking this matters, because I just don't think I know how to articulate it. I think you did a way more succinct, I mean, it was a long email, but I think you did a way more succinct job of explaining. I don't know what I mean. Man, the World Baseball Classic, just to bring it back to that, I'm seriously blown away by how into it people were. I mean, the crowds were incredible in Japan and in Houston, and then where were they just doing the final? It was in Miami, and these crowds were outstanding. You guys see the hot dogs that they were selling at? I think it was at the stadium in Miami, where, like, each country they got to, like, make their own hot dog that they wanted to present. Oh my gosh, they were about. Which, by the way, is maybe a good time to bring up my hot dog counter for the year. How many hot dogs I've had for the year? Now, for those of you, some of you may remember my plan for America's 250th birthday this year, which is on the 4th of July. In December, I came up with a plan, which was, okay, so between January 1st and July 3rd, I need to eat at least 249 hot dogs. And then that way on July 5th, on July 4th, you know what I mean? I'll get to eat my 250th hot dog of the year. Now, how many I have left by the 4th of July, however many I have left to eat, I have to eat that many that day. You know what I mean? So it's just about chipping away. So it's like, okay, so what's the update on that? What's the counter? How many do I need? How many do I have left until I get to 250, right? How hard of a day is the 4th of July going to be? Well, we have a problem. I didn't remember that I was doing this until like until like January 30th. And I was panicking. And Maddie's like, what's wrong? Oh my God, what the fuck is going on? When I told her what it was, goddamn was she mad because it was so dumb. She's like, I don't care about this. Why would you? I don't care about this. I thought something was actually wrong. No, I was just really mad I was really overwhelmed that I just blew 30 days of not eating hot dogs. So where am I at? I'm taping this on March 23rd. How many hot dogs am I at? 29, man. 29 on the year. I got such a long way to go. I don't know what's going to happen to me on the 4th of July. I'm going to be so short, man. I'm going to end up having to eat like 50 hot dogs. And most of these are just naked dogs with just a bun. A couple of them got onions, a couple of them got chili. I mark it on the thing if it's got onions or chili or whatever it is. I don't mark it if it's just a naked dog, but yeah, I write the day and how many hot dogs I ate, and yesterday I had 2 and today I had 3, and I'm really just trying to bulk, man. I'm just trying to shovel in as many as I can into my mouth. And 200, I got to eat it because it seems like, in a vacuum, it's almost April, eating, almost 30 hot dogs in the year so far. I mean, that's, at least 10 hot dogs every month. That seems like a lot of hot dogs. I mean, and if you put it that way, if you put 29 hot dogs in front of you, that's a lot of hot dogs. Yeah, but I'm not even close. I'm not even close. And I don't even, because I could eat a pack a day. Man, I say that out loud. A pack a day for how long? Because how many come in a pack? About 8? Yeah, it's about 8 hot dogs. You eat 8 hot dogs a day for 7 weeks. Was that 56? Yeah, that's about 56. I ate 56 hot dogs in a week. Whoa. Wait a minute. If I did that for 2 weeks, that'd be 102 hot dogs. And then I would be so let's just round number. I'm at 130 right now. I'm sorry, I'm at 30 right now. And if I ate 100, I'd be at 100. So 2 weeks. So by the time we're at April 15th, by like Easter, I could be, that's not Easter, but I could be at 100 and then I only need 120 more. What do you think would happen to a man if he ate 8 hot dogs a day for 14 days in a row? What would happen to a man? Because I take my vitamins. Maddie gives me potions and shit. I take my vitamins. What did I eat for dinner the other night? Carrots and broccoli. Carrots and broccoli. That's what I ate for dinner. Well, and chicken, leaving that out. But I ate carrots and broccoli. Real shit. Fresh vegetables, right? Weren't frozen. They were the raw ingredients of the earth that I chopped and washed with my own hands. I ate those. So I eat, you know what I mean? So like I drink my Brita filter water. You know what I mean? I still drink my vitamin water. Still drink a little Sprite. But I drink my Brita water out of my little Stanley cup. Like, what do you mean? So if I ate 102 hot dogs over 2 weeks, what happens to a man? I really should have started this at March Madness. I really should have said, when the first game starts, I can start eating hot dogs. And I can keep eating hot dogs until the last game of the day ends. And then I got to stop eating hot dogs. And I get to do that for the 2 weekends of basketball. I really should have done that. Because I probably could have gotten close to this. Like maybe this is a good direction for me to take, during the Super Bowl or during the Oscars when I get to drink as many beers as I want. Maybe in the future I stop doing that and I just do hot dogs. And I just allow myself to eat as many hot dogs as I want. Because the consequences of eating too many hot dogs, I think maybe I'd rather live with than drinking too many beers. You know what I mean? I guess maybe. I don't know. It's unknowable. I've never had too many hot dogs before. It hasn't happened yet. What does that feel like? When's the last time no more hot dogs for me, please. I couldn't fucking tell you the last time that happened. Never. It's my favorite thing to do, going somewhere. One hot dog, please. I love places that sell hot dogs because I just feel like they get it. I feel like you get the American struggle, man. You get that when we put our shoes on every day, we just got shit that we got to do every day that we don't want to do, but we have to do it. But we have to do it, and everybody's got different stuff, and you wouldn't trade your stuff for anybody else's stuff, but you don't want your stuff, man. It sucks. But you got to get up and you got to deal with it. You got to confront it every single day. Sometimes those people just want a damn hot dog, man. And you go into a place, sometimes you go to restaurants and you're surprised that they sell hot dogs. They sell char dogs. I'm tired about this, though. And this is, I've had some food takes recently that you guys are getting mad. Talk about the big arch. Maybe this is a good time to do it. I was going to say the thing about the hot dogs. I don't like the skin on the hot dogs. When there's a snap on the thing, no, I don't like it. I like it to be soft. Like, it can be kind of like, there can be a little crunch because you cooked it on a grill or something. But I don't want the casing around that. You know what I mean? That like crunch from the dog. I don't like that. I've never liked it. But unfortunately in Detroit, that's a big thing. And even here in Chicago, it's a big thing. It sucks. Even in Milwaukee, that's a big thing. In Milwaukee, they just love their damn sausages, though. Well, so do they. I guess the Polish sausages and Italian sausages and shit here in Chicago. Yeah, that's definitely a thing too. Yeah, man, the big arch. Let's do the big arch thing now. I'm glad we boomeranged and I remembered to come back to this. Good Lord. Was it a week or two ago? I did a quick 5-minute little hit at the beginning of the episode. I gave you guys some financial advice. I said invest long-term in this new limited time offer from McDonald's. Not an ad at all. The Big Arch from McDonald's. Go get this sandwich. Go try it. It's delicious. I love it. All right, I had it one time, and it was that day, and hours later, I was raving about it into a microphone, okay? And then since I said that, I have 24 emails about this damn burger from McDonald's. People going all in one way or another. Now, until today, one guy, we got an email. Guy was like, yeah, it was actually just fine. Here's what I liked. Here's what I didn't like. It's a 6 out of 10. Great. A guy who was unpolarized by this sandwich. I love it. I love that guy. But everybody else, oh my God. Either eyes on their hands and knees worshiping this sandwich, which even maybe I gave the energy of like, that guy. I'm not that guy with this sandwich, but it's really good and I'm involved with it long term. For real. I really like this sandwich. Or you get guys like, I think it was Jamal emailed into the show. practically, everything damn short of sending me his Venmo and being like, you fucked me out of $8. He called me $8.69. Here's my Venmo. And you didn't quite do that, because it's my problem. The same guy, by the way, talk about food takes, people getting mad. So I made a community post. Guy gets a little stoned. He, fires off a community post. I said on YouTube community post the other night, mayonnaise is not a breakfast condiment. # you're eating lunch. Man, and Jamal got so mad about that. Man, the New York bagel crowd got so mad about that. You can't have mayo as a breakfast condiment. New York City, the only place in America that you can get a bagel, that you can get pizza, that you can get a roll, that you can get a cheesesteak, that you can get it's the only place you can get anything. It's the cultural and cuisine capital hub mecca of the world. You guys are really mad about that. The origin of that was my brother sent a text. I don't remember. We were talking about food. He was like, yeah, I had a breakfast sandwich this morning with he said hot honey and mayo and bacon and whatever and blah, blah, blah. I said, mayo isn't a breakfast condiment. # you ate lunch. And I rolled with it. I thought it was a good take. You guys got real damn mad about that. I got any other food takes. Wasn't I about to fire one off? What's another food take that I want to get off? Here's one. Ooh, here's a scorcher. This might be my hottest one yet. My hottest food take yet. This might be it. I don't think this is. I realize what I'm saying. I just say it, man. Fries and hash browns don't belong on sandwiches or burgers or anything like that. Like a breakfast sandwich, like a bacon, egg, and cheese with a hash brown in it. No. Give me the hash brown on the side, please. I love a hash brown. Hash browns are like my favorite thing in the world. I ate 4 this morning, by the way. Put 4 of them in the oven. Cooked them to hell. I love a big, crispy, salty hash brown, okay? Doesn't need to be in a sandwich, though. Because it's just the texture of it is wrong. Then the taste of it, the crunch of it, everything is just gone. The saltiness of it, it's just too mixed in and there's nothing. Put fries in a burger? No, it's just gone. Put it on the side. It's a different thing. You don't need to put everything in this. It just doesn't need to be the same thing, You see people put them in burritos and stuff like that too, and shawarma and shit like that. Whatever, bro. Whatever. Sure, I don't care. Whatever. But I don't think it belongs there. Maybe it's not good. I don't think it's good behavior. Is what I'll just say it flat out. I don't think it's good behavior, honestly. Spotify. Fries in your burger. What do you think about that? Or the hash brown in your breakfast burrito in your. A breakfast burrito's okay. That's fine. When I said burrito, I wasn't thinking, yes, breakfast burrito, egg, sausage, bacon, chorizo, whatever you want to put in there. You can put some hash brown in there. For sure. That's delicious. That's amazing. For sure. Some fries on a burger. You're doing too much. I think you're doing way too much. And I think that I think it's hacky and tacky, honestly. It's some Dr. Seuss shit. For real. Fries on a burger. It's unnecessary. You put hash browns on a bacon, egg, and cheese. It's ridiculous. Put it on the side. It'll be delicious. But you don't need to put it on there. Bacon, egg, and cheese, pound for pound, is the highest ceiling, highest floor food in the world, I think. What I mean by that, the worst bacon, egg, and cheese that you can get is still pretty damn good. If you mess it up, I kind of don't care. It's my favorite food in the world. No matter what it is, no matter where it's from. Again, the worst bacon, egg, and cheese on a bagel in the world, don't care. It's going to be delicious, and I want it. And obviously, the ceiling of it is the best bacon, egg, and cheese on a bagel you've ever had in your life. Apple Podcast. What's up? If you're watching this on YouTube, sure to leave a like, subscribe, nice little comment for the algorithm. Make sure to keep primary control in check. And I will catch you guys in the next one.